Mr. President, and to our city attorney, can we draft a resolution to that law, 53 years, to abolish it in the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Draft, throw up one and let's put it before the council, and let's get that off of the book so we can have no misunderstanding about that. I remember the law. Mr. President, let me get the feeling of the council. I'm going to support it because it's not right if nobody votes for it but me. But I would like for, as a council person, Ward 6 request that the city attorney right now have a resolution prepared next regular meeting to abolish that law that could get us all in trouble. Mr. President, I'd like to hear your remarks. If he does it, then I'm going to support it if I have to do it by myself.
I'll support changing that.
Okay. Mr.
My
President.
remarks is, if what I would like to do, I mean, I just can't go off what one person come up here and say. Now, he passed this out. I want to go home and read it, read the law, study it, and make sure so when I vote, and if it says right, what all we think it says, I do want it off the book.
Mr. President.
But you say you want me to hear my opinion?
Yes, carry on.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, once I study it and see that how is it racial and all that, I most definitely want it off the book.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Well,
but I don't want to do it based on what one person said.
I understand.
You see, I want to read it, find out myself. You know, best thing to do is don't let nobody come here and tell you how to do your job. Do it yourself.
Right.
You know, and so I would like to read it and maybe have it on the study agenda maybe for a week or two, and maybe the meeting after that. Then we vote to abolish. But I want to know what's going on myself.
Well, you got a copy of it.
Not that I don't agree with you, but I want to know. I don't want one person telling me something. I don't know whether he's telling me the truth or not. I need to know myself.
Well, I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was still official. I've
Okay.
heard of it. It was used during it was applied during that time.
Okay, Councilman Palmer.
If there are any ordinances that we have that impedes on our First Amendment right, I don't think there are any of us in here that wouldn't want to change.
Exactly.
But
Right.
we need to read it for ourselves.
Exactly.
And each person might interpret something differently. We need to look at it, and if it does that, I don't have any problem with changing it.
That's the way I feel about it.
That's the way I feel.
Councilman Jennings.
And I understand it too, and I would support that too. I know that a citizen shouldn't interfere with a policeman in the act of enforcing the law. You can't. I know in a courtroom, and I'll have an attorney tell me over there too, that I can't get between the judge and the attorney and start yelling in the middle of a courtroom and screaming that I want my opinion. They will arrest me for attempt of court, and they will take me to the Crossbar Hotel. Won't they? And that's impinging on my freedom of speech or my opinion of the way the court's being run. There are a certain amount of rules. Now, I understand that you can't interfere with a policeman enforcing a good and solid and humane law. And so it's a delicate line in there. I know that everybody has a right to protest, carry a sign, and voice their opinion about the way they think their government's spending their money and enforcing their laws. I understand that perfectly. But I understand that human being, you can't impede the enforcement of laws and the people that enforce those laws. I understand that part of it, but I understand the part of it too. Some of these things were written and and I want to look at it and read it and understand it too. But there's a meltdown in there that would come up with something that would protect our police officers and our citizens and make sure both are treated fairly.
This is the official document. It's on record here in the City Hall. It's official. This is just a copy of it. It's on the books, and y'all gonna study it. I don't know how long it's gonna take you to study it, but hopefully, the president said after maybe the 8th or the 12th.
Yeah, I definitely should be on the agenda maybe even a month from now. Definitely between 9 and a month. If if the council wanted on the next meeting, I ain't got no problem.
I have no problem.
Put it on the
waiting.
study agenda for the next meeting, and we vote on it immediately after that.
Yes, sir. That's okay.
That's what I'm
with me.
saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're talking about.
And that way, maybe Thomas or somebody can come up with something that'll protect citizens and policemen.
Right.
I mean, you know, we just can't put our officers out there with no law. I mean, first thing we gonna say, what are policemen doing to fight crime?
Well,
You know, we got to, you know, it's a thin line.
well, this is federal law that he's quoting because
Okay.
you hear it all over the country. It's federal law, it's not state law.
Okay.
We just happen to be caught still with it. It's
Okay.
federal law that you can't arrest a citizen because of what he says
Well,
to the police. That's
and-
federal law.
And once I read it, and if that's true, I'm in
Well, you
total
need to
support
read
of
the
it.
federal law. You heard it all.
And that's why I say I want to read that too.
But I know you can't interfere with the law enforcement officer doing his duty to enforce the law.
Right.
I know you cannot. You can't get between a car that's speeding and one doing 100 and get crossways in the road to keep him, just because you
here's
think
the
a man
danger.
has a right to speed.
Here's the danger.
I mean,
We keep
it's-
procrastinating and keep putting out, we end up in real trouble.
Oh, I'm for change.
I'm ready to move on, and once I read it, I'm ready.
That's the point, because
I'm
it's
not
already
procrastinating.
federal law. You can procrastinate and put it off until you got to read it and have a write a paper on it. Eventually, when you look at it and read it, you see that it's
Let's rewrite it
unfair.
right now.
Let's get it out of the way and move on.
Let's rewrite it right now. I got my.
No, I don't mean right now.
The attorney gonna speak. The attorney, he has to comment. And we need-
I certainly understand the urgency and the fact that this code doesn't reflect the council's, you know, the modern day views, and it's one of many antiquated codes, and it's what Mr. Gregory alluded to. It certainly is one scheduled to be repealed during the recodification, and instead of course it's up to the council, instead of piecemealing it, there may be other equally offensive codes that we could, in one fell swoop, clean the code of such, if the council deems it offensive, and it could all happen at one time. There are going to be more.
I see what you said, Mr. Attorney, but we know this one is there. To jeopardize the future with this one, let's get this one out of the way and look for the others.
Okay, so is that the majority of the council? We're gonna have it on the study agenda for the next 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks after that, we vote on it.
Yes, sir.
Everybody all right with that?
2 weeks, yes, sir.
Okay, the second meeting in June, it'll be on here to vote.
Yes, sir.
That's all right, attorney?
Yes, sir.
You okay? Ma'am.
And I just want to say, that's why we're going through this process of looking through these ordinances. It should have been looked at many times over, and has not. So now we can clean them all up and get these old, antiquated, so to speak, ordinances out of our books, period. And they won't reflect on anybody. And so I agree 100%. I'm glad you do too, but I think it's a great thing to do.
Okay, let's move on.